Hey guys, welcome to Rapid Fire Real Estate. Christian B., Burnaby, Vancouver-based real estate agent. And for today's video, I want to talk to you about investing in pre-sales and selling your recently completed pre-sale unit. And really want to focus on the first part there. Investing in pre-sales is a bad idea. We've had a change in government. We've had a lot more taxes, a lot more restrictions, a lot of stuff I've talked about in other videos that have really dropped a big anvil on the pre-sale market. There's no money to be made here. I've got two case studies that I'm going to pull out and share with you in a moment. But just so you know the backdrop and you have a context to this, there's a number of 1990s realtors well known inside the industry that would basically pre-sale hop with their clients from one project to the next. And they bought and sold and sold and bought, and they made a lot of money. At some points in the 2010s, I was seeing sellers making six figures on a single sale and not having paid $1 in mortgage. So that was the gravy train. Well, that train has ground to a halt. The reality is now anyone who bought pre-sales post 2017-18 is not doing so well. Even people I'm coming across who bought in 2021, 2022, it's the same story, especially for condos. And and it's the market has not continued to rise like it did in the 2010s. For example, 2017, the market alone for condos was up 27% in the greater Vancouver area. So that meant a condo that started January 2017 at $600,000 was worth $750,000 by Christmas of 2017. Well, markets don't always do that. And the condo market 2018 through to 2023 has sort of pitter-pattered around 2-3% gains, 3-4% drops. Anyway, what does it mean for you? If you are completing on a pre-sale and you're wanting to sell it, here's what you need to know. And then I'm going to offer you some suggestions of what you can do. First case study, this comes from the greater Vancouver area. Here's a big brand builder, very well established. They've built one tower on the waterfront, working on the second one. And what happens is, the building completes, all the owners get their keys. Well, because a lot of this was marketed to overseas buyers and just the speculative investor, a lot of these guys are wanting to sell and sell their units, and all of a sudden we've got 70 plus listings on the market 6 weeks post closing. So when you've got 70 listings, that's 70 individuals, mom and pops, just selling their unit. You create an artificial buyer's market. That's a dream for a buyer. Basically, they pick and choose and just see which seller is the most eager to sell, and they'll negotiate with that party. The finishings are all going to be the same. They're all vacant, unlived-in units, and in most cases, the sellers are going to be eating the GST. So that's a dream for a buyer. If you're a seller, boy, we really have to communicate value on something like this, and even then, that might not be enough. Boy, we need to be sharp on the listing price. And even then, that might not be enough because we may have another seller that just leapfrogs us and, drops the price by $50,000 or more. And so it becomes a race to the bottom in essence in terms of getting it sold. And and in this case where I'm citing, 70 plus listings in a single building, most of these people are not making money. I'm pretty sure of that. I'd be surprised if more than a couple of handfuls were. And now, not that the general public really cares. I mean, the general public, in certain pockets of it, they cheer these kinds of things, and they don't realize the sort of the knock-on consequences of something like this. We do need to have a strong market, but I want to stay getting back on point here. If you are in a situation like this, you may not only be competing against the 70 plus listings that are for sale, you may also be competing against the developer. They may still have 150 units left to sell. Now, they may only advertise 5 on the MLS. But when the buyer goes in to visit their presentation center, they might say, "Oh, but you don't like this one? Well, we've got half a dozen of these ones." And I know for a fact that that's the case in this instance. So, and when you're competing against a developer, boy, the developer has deep pockets. They can absorb losses if which most mom and pops can't. And the second thing here is the developers can sweeten the pot for buyers coming ashore now. What they can do is they can offer a second parking spot. They can offer a second storage locker. They can install California closets at no charge. They can eat the GST. And of course, they can do whatever they want with the price because they may be able to absorb the losses. So that's just one example of a project. Now, here's another one from the Fraser Valley. Low-rise wood frame developments. This is just on a highway. And here the developer is not just working on one project, but they're working on several projects. And I've noticed that a lot of the one-bedroom buyers here were buying in at $560, $570, $580. This is plus GST a couple of years ago. Now they get the keys from the developer. They can go ahead and sell it and do whatever they want or rent it out. Now the challenge is if the developer still, got a few units to sell, but it's even greater than that. The developer in this case has a couple more buildings to sell across the street, several blocks away. And my understanding is they haven't even met their financing requirements. So they're going to be really incentivized to sell as many units at a lower price because they want to get their construction loan. And so they usually need to meet a benchmark of 60 to 70% of the buildings sold. And the last I checked, individual owners as well as the developer had listings on the market here for $499. Now you imagine that. This is a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 gap between what someone bought it for in 2022 and what the developer and individual sellers are asking for now. Now, how long does it take for the market to come back and for those sellers to, just break even? I don't know. I would think it would at least take 2+ years. I mean, because you're looking at hopefully the market bringing a 15-20% gain to break even. Okay, so you can tell that as a seller of a recently completed pre-sale, this is an uphill battle, and you can tell that right now. You really shouldn't be investing in pre-sales because of the restrictions and the taxes. There's no money to be made on these right now. Markets may change in 2 or 3 years from now. That may be different, but it certainly is not the case now. So I would not recommend it for you. But you're in the situation. So what do you do? I think the first thing you do is ask yourself, why do you want to sell it? What do you need the money for? And if you need it because you want to start a family, you want to have kids, a larger space, then go ahead and just take the hit. I was in a similar situation. I sold a condo at a loss, and it was because I wanted a bigger space. We wanted to start a family, and you don't want to put your life on hold. You only get a certain number of years on this planet, and you might as well take advantage of them. You can make the money back. You cannot get the time back. So that's the first thing I'd say. If it's for a good reason, for a good cause, I would just move forward and take the loss. Second question I would ask myself here is, what's the opportunity cost? Do you have something else to invest in that will outperform the real estate you hold? Now, let's assume, and I had a discussion with a realtor colleague of mine at an open house who said, he thinks that the S&P 500 will return 10%. And his client says he would rather just sell it and put the money he recoups into an S&P index fund and make 10%. So if you get your money back, $150,000, you put it in an index fund, maybe you get $15,000 next year. That assumes the 10%, and no appreciation on your real estate. I don't know. You may have a better investment opportunity. That's so you just look at what that is. It's very hard to guess at what the appreciation would be. you know, you got to be very conservative with these kinds of things. You know, I mean, if you add 5% a year, I would not add any more of real estate appreciation than that, just to be safe. Third thing I would do is just do the simple money math. Break it down. If you're selling and you're taking a $30,000 loss today with commissions and legal fees, etc., look at if you hold on to it for 3 years and you have to subsidize it by $1,000 a month. Well, what is that? 36 months, $36,000. Well, do you want to bleed that out slowly, or do you want to just take the hit once and get it over with? I'm the kind of guy, I just like to get things over with. Life's too short, so I just want to move on. You know, I had a builder once in West Coquitlam tell me that he said, you know, Christian, for every 4 homes I build, I lose money on one of them. It's just part of life. It's part of the business. And so, you know, if you've been doing it on a regular basis, you may have the same mindset. If you were first time to buying a pre-sale in the last couple of years, you may not share that mindset. Well, that's how the people who do this on a regular basis think. And the next thing I would say is, as there's an assumption here built into these scenarios, and that is that you can sell it. The reality is, in the 2 case studies that I shared with you, those owners likely can't. And you may just be forced into a holding situation where you have to run with monthly losses. You need to subsidize the unit for a given period of time before a market window of opportunity opens up. You're in a seller's market, and now you can sell it and offload it. So that is a possibility. You may just have to do the math and make sure that you can hold this for the long run, because unless you are priced really sharp, I don't know that you're going to be able to cross the finish line in a sale to begin with. Best thing to do is reach out to a real estate agent. By all means, feel free to contact me. My contact is in the show notes, and I'll go over. We'll have to connect, but I'll go over your situation, see what can be done, what your options are, and then ultimately you're the president of your purchase and sale, as I like to say, and you make the final call. Okay, hope you found that interesting, insightful, and helpful at the very least. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you enjoy the stories and the content, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.